Zoom platform, but eventually, maybe next month, if situations go well, we will be meeting offline and having much more better experience of what we wanted to offer as a wholesome program. But anyway, without any further delay, we have our today's speaker, Kripamay Gaurang Prabhuji, who has joined already, and I'll be spotlighting him in a couple of minutes. So I will give Prabhuji's introduction. But before that, I have one request and one announcement. The request is that I would request you to kindly rename yourself properly, because sometimes when we log in into the Zoom, it gets login as some mobile name or something. So if you can rename yourself properly, it will be helpful in identifying who are our participants today. And also another announcement is that we have wonderful quiz towards the end, having few questions, very few questions. It will take 2 minutes, based on which we'll be sending you some goodies at your home address also. So do not forget to attempt it. And in that also, we'll be asking one very important question, which is what ahead of this festival. So all the people have attended today's festival, they may be having, is there any continuity after that or something like that? What is your next program? So all that will be part of the Google form. So do not miss. We have amazing video also after Prabhuji completes his session. Sir completes his session. So I will just give a brief introduction of Prabhuji. So Kripamay Gaurang Prabhuji is passed out from IAC college. He did his ME from IAC college. Before that, he completed his BTech from NIT Surathkal, and currently he is working in Cisco as senior manager there, and currently part of senior management also there, leading one of the whole group there. And along with this material side, he has been practicing Krishna consciousness, the path of spiritual life, from more than 2.5 decades, more than 25 years. And he has been mentoring many people, including youths, including many married couples. And he has been guiding them how we can very happily lead a very prosperous life and also very happy life. So that's what short about him. And I have very nice interactions with Prabhuji. He's a very nice friend also. You can open up anything and ask him. Same time, he has great depth of wisdom from Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So anything is there. If you ask him, you'll get a very wonderful answer from Prabhuji. So I'm just spotlighting him now, and we'll be having now further 15-20 minutes discourse on peace of mind or pieces of mind, as the topic is very interactive. After that, we'll play one video in between, and again 15-20 minutes he will share some more thoughts about it. Over to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Hemanga Prabhu. Hare Krishna. You set a lot of big expectations for me. Let me see what I can definitely try to do something. First of all, I want to actually thank all the participants. Thank you, friends, that you took time to actually attend this program. While I'm not going to talk much about myself, but I would have loved if we actually had met in person, but as he called out, situation is not that great that we can actually be in person. But I see that a lot of young boys and girls actually joined. Thank you very much. I'm actually really grateful for all of you to take time and join this program. As we actually had announced in the WhatsApp groups that today's session is going to be peace of mind or pieces of mind. We know what is peace of mind. We never heard about this pieces of mind. I mean, because you cannot divide the mind into pieces. It's not a physical object like hand where you can chop off something like that. But what exactly is this pieces of mind? And then we'll try to understand a little more about mind control and how can we be successful in whatever endeavor we pursue, right? So without much ado, I just want to actually share a few statistics that I saw in the last year from the Time magazine. I just want to actually share a few things in that. I just want to call out, Hemanga Prabhu might actually run a poll for all of you. Be engaged, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to actually put it in the chat, and one of the devotees can actually respond to that, or if it comes to my notice, I'll actually answer those questions. So feel free, it can be an interactive session. Need not be a sermon like I give, what do you call, like a Hitler, I speak and then you guys just hear that. You don't have to be like that. It can be interactive. So the first thing, I mean, I saw a bunch of poll that was actually done sometime in 2020, maybe in the July edition. They had come up with a list of things and people had answered that. And it seems to be very interesting to know a few things about mind. And Time magazine as such would always pick up very important topics in the world and then run some poll, some survey. The first thing is about the attention span of people. There is an interesting thing to understand here. The attention span of people in general in the year 2012, that is 2012, was 12 seconds. That means I'm focusing on something and the brain actually is completely focused on that activity. For 8 seconds, I can focus. And beyond that, I lose attention. I can't actually see here or there. I mean, my mind gets disturbed. That was in 2012, 12 seconds. Today in 2020 or more than that, it's 8 seconds. And even goldfish, they say goldfish actually can focus for 9 seconds at a particular thing. I don't know how they actually come up with these kind of different statistics, but it seems to be very interesting that the attention span is incredibly actually reduced. No one can actually take more than 8 seconds and then their mind is actually completely distracted. The next thing which I saw was the internet usage. This was in some other edition. Worldwide internet usage has actually increased. 60% of the whole world population have started using internet, and out of which about 6% of them, 6% is about 650 million of them use internet every day. And internet is actually heavily multitasking, and as you increase your multitasking, your brain is not able to take the load. It's not able to focus on an activity. You need to do many things at the same time. While the computer can actually act like that, but our human brain is not like that. The human brain gets disturbed quite a bit. And as it focuses on different aspects at the same time, your focus on any one thing keeps reducing. And it's no wonder with all the work from home because of the pandemic, plus everything's done remotely, even this session is being done remotely. As it increases, our focus, our attention span keeps falling down. And it's very bad because the more you get distracted, you will not be able to actually achieve what you want in life, right? And there's a very, very interesting aspect I actually saw about this whole internet usage that is amazing among the youth, right? 70% of the youth actually are exposed to pornography, which is actually a very, very big factor for distraction. But that's what's happening in the world. We need to be aware of that. And in the US alone, it's mentioned that 45% of the accidents happens because of mind distraction, not because of the vehicle, not because of the capability or the capacity of the person who's driving or the vehicle itself or the road or traffic. It's just because they get distracted, the mind distracts them and they are not able to actually drive and they end up in an accident. It's a big number. And this is a very, very important aspect that was given out early in 2021 Time magazine. The industrial loss because of distraction. That means when you are focused in an activity, when you are focused in a particular work, you can be productive. You can actually definitely contribute something actively, and your output will actually be very valued. That is because of absorption. And when there's a distraction that you're not able to focus on the work that is assigned to you, you will not be able to be successful. So there is actually a loss in the monetary value. I don't know how they came up with this number, but then $650 billion of money is actually lost because of distraction in the US alone every year. So this is actually a very, very a big number. But this happens if everyone is actually focused on a particular thing, and if they are completely dedicated or absorbed in that work, then that's a great thing. But if they are not, then there's actually a loss in the whole productivity. So these are some of the statistics actually I saw and was very bewildered. Like mind is actually the center of all these things. Because of mind getting distracted, we see that so much of issues actually happening. And not only this, sometimes we want to do something, you're not able to do it. You want to achieve something, you're simply not able to do it. So many things really keep happening. But is this actually problem a new problem in the industry, or was it there before? It's a question that I would want to actually ask each one of you. Is it really a new problem that actually we are facing in the world, or this problem is actually been there for a long time? if anybody wants to actually put it on the chat or speak out, I mean, whatever it is, it's good enough just to know, just know your views. Maybe about 5 seconds. You want actually can they actually put it on the chat, Prabhu? Is it possible?
Yes, they can put on chat to you.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's a new problem is what some of the people are saying. Okay. So understand this focus problem is actually not a new problem. This focus problem was really there even in the ancient days. You may be wondering what I'm actually talking about. So I want to actually take some historical evidence about the same thing, about this. I'm not talking about the internet problem. I'm not talking about the accident problem or anything. I'm only focusing on the mind problem, the attention span, or the facility or the ability to actually do what you want to do. Many times you want to do something, you're not able to do it. So this problem is really not a new problem. If you go back to the history, this is exactly what the great personality Arjuna, the greatest warrior you can ever think of. He's a very, very highly skilled fighter. He is actually called a Maharathi. Maharathi really means one who can actually fight in 10 directions. Normally we see in one direction, right? I see in the front, east direction, and then I shoot the arrows because there are enemies there. But Arjuna was such a skilled person, he can actually fight in 10 directions. 10 directions is a lot to actually manage for one person. 10 directions is your east, west, north, south, then the northeast, northwest, north, southeast, southwest, something like that. So the 8 direction and up and down 9 direction, 10. So it's like complete all directions you could fight. Now, he being a highly skilled warrior, he ended up in a situation where he had the skills, but he did not have the will to fight. So this is something very, very interesting to know, because all the schools today, be it from the nursery or in the colleges, they teach us a lot of skills to learn how to be successful in life. But unfortunately, nobody actually touches upon the willingness or will to actually do what we want to do. That means, how do I increase my absorption in what I want to do? I have the skill to be successful. Yes, I don't have any questions about that. We get trained on that. But when I actually start working on certain activity, my mind gets distracted. I'm not able to focus on that. I'm not able to study what I want to study. Because it becomes very difficult. I study something, it doesn't go into my mind, and I'm not able to recollect something. It's all because of the mind. It's all because of the mind. You're not able to actually really understand what is happening. And Arjuna, being such a highly skilled warrior, ended up in the same situation like what we are seeing today. He was very, very disturbed, and he started crying because he was not able to make a decision on what he should be doing. How should he fight? And that's exactly what the whole Bhagavad Gita is talking about. And Krishna actually helped him out to overcome his situation, and he was able to make a decision. Okay, I need to fight. Okay, this is how I need to fight. And he had the skill, but he didn't have the will. And Krishna brought him the will. And this is exactly what we should actually have in our lives too. Let's try to understand a little more about this aspect of the mind, because if you don't understand the mind, then you will not understand what is peace of mind and what is peace of the mind. Because Krishna gives a lot of information about mind in the Bhagavad Gita, mind being one of his energies, and details around how do you get the peace of mind. Because he also mentions that if you don't have peace of mind, where will you have a happiness? And he also mentions, okay, if your senses are distracted here and there, then your mind is actually becoming pieces, in the sense your senses are pulling across in all directions. Sometimes your father wants you to do something, your mother wants you to do something, all these things go into your brain. You have your own personal desires, and you are trying to actually win over all these different senses, and invariably actually you get attracted to certain things, and that is also pulling, and your physical body is actually having its own problems, and that is not able to actually manage. So how much can you actually handle, right? So your mind is totally disturbed. And how do we actually really manage that is what we are going to see. But invariably what happens is, if people don't take shelter of these ancient scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, and take shelter of the Supreme Lord and his directions, they take up something like, okay, oh, this person is actually gone a little crazy, he needs to actually have psychiatric treatment, or okay, you need to be actually put into a different condition. They take up some kind of a brain stimulant, like alcohol or any other things like that, like smoking or something like that. what really happens in such situations? Do they really succeed? It appears like they are succeeding, but no, they don't actually succeed in that, because the mind is created by the Lord, and obviously he knows the mind better than any of us. I don't know, one story comes to my mind about this cobra effect. I don't know how many of you have heard about this cobra effect. Cobra, the snake, cobra effect. It's a very, very interesting story I heard long back, even before all of us were born. In the 1900s, this really happened in India, and the British were actually ruling the government. And and in Delhi, there were too many snakes, cobras in the land. In the city was infested with so many cobras, and people used to get scared, and many people used to get bit. So the British government thought we should do something which is going to work. They didn't want to actually get some snake charmers and this and that, and then do that. But instead, they offered, the problem was basically too many snakes, and they need to actually clear it off. The solution they came up with is very interesting. They said, let's actually reward people who actually bring us a dead snake. Okay, I'm going to actually give them 2 annas or 1 anna, whatever it is. That was a big amount at that point in time. Let's give them that money, and if they bring us a dead snake, that way we can clear off all the snakes in the land. That was actually the British government's solution. What happened? The farmers, or those who are actually expert in catching the snakes, they thought, okay, wow, this is a very easy way of making money. So they started rearing more snakes. They actually had their own snake farm. So they started getting more and more snakes. And every now and then they thought, okay, we had estimated about, say, maybe about some 40,000 or 50,000, or maybe 150,000 snakes. And the snakes were coming, and more snakes were getting killed. And then they didn't know where actually it was coming from. So they thought, we are going to stop this, what do you call this, reward system of snakes. We're not going to pay anything, leave it. So all these farmers who actually had raided the snakes, they became very angry, because they thought they actually got a good business to go and then give them and get the money. So they left all the snakes into the city again. So the number of snakes actually increased multifold. And look at the solution they thought. They thought actually it'll be easy for them to solve. But what really happened in the world was completely different. So like this, people actually, without understanding what the real problem is, they come into a solution, and the solution actually leads them to something else completely, which is unheard of, right? That means the problem is much simpler than the solution. The solution creates more new problems, right? So this is what really happened, and Krishna helps us. And if you can understand this, what do you call the aspect of what the mind is, then it's much easier to understand our real problem and solve it. So you have to understand the mechanism of mind. What is our body, and where does the mind fit in, right? So we have the senses, the 5 senses which are there: the eyes, nose, tongue, ear, and skin, which is actually what we see in the body. And these are all actually attached subtly to the mind. And the mind is actually a storehouse of all the thoughts. Whatever you're thinking, you see something, you get the picture, mental picture of that particular situation, and it actually creates some kind of a desire in our mind, in our heart, and we want to actually fulfill those desires. And as the desires keeps increasing, and then it's not fulfilled, you get more and more disturbed. And also, it also keeps the previous experiences. That means I'm trying to do something, I feel very happy. It keeps a snapshot of the entire thing in the mind. And next time when you see the situation, I said, yes, I want to do this, right? So this is all subtly linked. And above this mind, there's actually intelligence. The intelligence actually is a decision maker. The mind would come up with a lot of solutions, like, oh, you should do this, you should do that. And then finally the intelligence says, no, we'll do this way, right? Mind, sometimes you're walking on the road and you see a pani puri stall, and then you see pani puri is nice, I want to eat, because the smell is actually into your nose. Said, yes, come. And then your tongue says, yes, please. And you go nearby, and then the intelligence actually kicks in and says, remember, last week you ate this and had 3 days of loose motion. You really want to have this? Then you said, no, that was too painful. And you again go back, right? The intelligence says no. So you just walk off. So that's how this whole thing works. You understand this mind is there, and the senses are the executive, the one which actually does the execution, and intelligence is the one which decides. Mind is just, it's very flickery and also unstable. All the time keeps jumping on here and there, right? So this is how actually the whole system, the ecosystem mechanism of the mind works. But Krishna actually explains in the Bhagavad Gita, he actually gives a very, very interesting analogy. He says, The five senses are like the horses, the five horses, right? In the picture you can see. And the reins, which is actually holding the horses, is the mind. And the person who is the chariot driver is actually the intelligence. So if the intelligence is very strong, the mind will actually be pulled properly, and the senses cannot go the way they want. Otherwise, the five senses will pull the mind apart in different directions. And that's exactly what I mean by the term pieces of mind. All the five senses are very demanding, and unfortunately, the mind is not able to manage that. And when the intelligence is not strong, the mind goes haywire and very disturbed. And who is the person sitting? The person sitting is actually us. We are actually sitting in a body where this body is made of senses, and I have my own mind and have my intelligence. I'm trying to actually understand what is happening in this world. Everything's happening. I mean, I want this. Mind is telling me go and do this. The senses are pulling me across. So all these things happening. There's absolutely no peace of mind if you don't know how to control these horses, which are the senses, right? I think we should actually see a video about how the mind gets disturbed and how the mind can be actually really controlled. Hemanga Prabhu, do you want to actually play the video so that I can continue after that based on the video?
Yes, I can play it. So just you may introduce to them, because in this they'll not be able to hear the audio, that how it will be a without any verbal way. It will be just like
Yeah.
one person is mine. Meanwhile,
Yes.
I'm putting it up on the screen.
Sure. Thank you so much. So a pantomime show is something that where there's absolutely no speech as such. It's just enacted. And when you enact that, you can understand the person is actually trying to communicate a particular thing. And it's very interesting to know. I'll just stop sharing and you can actually pick up and then share it. So here you have only two characters mainly the mind and myself. Both of us actually there. How does the mind really help or distract us from our way of living is what actually seen in the video that Hemanga Prabhu is going to share. See this video, and as you go along, I'll also try to speak a few words on that. It's a very interesting way of depicting our restless mind. Someone actually said, "Man means man ki baat sunaye to monkey banega." I mean, like saying that if you actually hear the mind's words, you will behave like a monkey. It's very interesting that people take it so seriously, whatever the mind's demands are, and try to fulfill that. And the more you try to fulfill the mind's demands, the more you'll become worried, right? Is it coming up, Prabhu? Yeah, I think you should actually spotlight yourself.
This is me.
Yeah.
And this is my mind.
My mind is very strong. When I'm sleeping, it's always dancing.
The mind gives a lot of new ideas for all of us. Because the mind is telling them, don't have to take a bath, just take a little bit of perfume and you're good. You can see the mind so restless all the time. So you can see here, the me was actually doing some work seriously. The mind was listless, and the mind actually got some friend who happens to be the Kali personified or whoever it is. He gives an option for the mind to get engaged in something which is very, very interesting, and mind actually got distracted. Now the mind is trying to convince myself to do something different apart from work. You can see that. Well done. Yeah, you can see this. The mind is always flickering. Although the me was trying to watch a movie, mind was disturbed. Now, mind is actually totally distracted. And again, he's trying to get some other idea for me to be actually engaged in some activity. Go ahead, Prabhu. So here the devotee is actually giving the Bhagavad Gita copy for him to read. So you can see that actually the mind is not actually very excited for him to get the Bhagavad Gita. So I'll stop here for a minute, Prabhu. Moment. So you can see here, the mind was not cooperating for him to actually understand these higher topics. The self became very angry and hit the mind, saying that I'm not going to listen to you, do what you can do. So this is a very, very important aspect to actually see in our life. We should not hear to the mind all the time. Otherwise, we'll end up in actually becoming like a monkey going here and there. Go ahead, bro. Yeah, this is a very yeah, okay. So this is a very interesting thing to see in this video. The mind was actually very hesitant to actually chant or meditate, and the me actually decided to teach the mind and was not listening. And eventually mind became so conditioned that the mind is actually now able to do the meditation even when the me is not actually doing it. Prabhu, can you play the video, continue video? actually a way that by just the mantra meditation, one actually can achieve the perfection of life. Thank you, Himanga Prabhu, actually showing us the video. So the mind in the beginning was actually restless, and mind after getting trained became so adjustable that mind was helping him all the time what to do. Right. So our life as such would be a long forest path, right, with a lot of thorns, stones. Krishna actually gives examples basically. There are two ways to solve this problem. Our life will have ups and downs for sure. There are a lot of thorns or a lot of difficult paths will always be there. We don't know how life will be. There are two ways to actually adjust this situation. One, the whole forest path that we actually go through, break all the stones, thorns, clean up everything, make it smooth so that you can actually walk. That's the first solution, which is practically impossible. Or you actually wear a kind of a very, very hard boot, a kind of a shoes that no matter whatever thorns or whatever stones that come on your way, you will not actually be disturbed at all, because you can still walk, because the shoes will be so strong that nothing will actually get affected. The second one is what Krishna is actually suggesting us, and the shoes basically our mind. Basically, if you can control your mind properly, no matter whatever situation comes in your life, you will still actually be focused on the goal and not be disturbed at all, and not even go through the pain of being disturbed. That's what actually Krishna is actually telling us. That's the solution to all the problems of life. If you can have your mind controlled, then you'll be successful in life. And then how do you control it? Regulate the mind, and meditation is actually the way to make the mind very stronger. So let's actually understand a few more things from Bhagavad Gita, because if you ever get a chance to actually read this Bhagavad Gita, especially the Bhagavad Gita as it is by Srila Prabhupada, it gives you so much of information on how to be successful in life. Because you can see Arjuna became a very, very successful personality. We can also actually follow that and become successful in whatever we take. It's not that someone has to be a full-time monk, not necessarily. You can actually be working outside. You can still be successful in controlling your mind and then achieving your destination. Krishna actually mentioned in the 6th chapter, Bandhur Atmatmanastasya Yenat Maivatmanajitaha Anatmanashu Satrutve Vartetatma Vishatruvat. The meaning is like this. For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. We saw in the pantomime show how in the beginning the mind was so controlled that the me was actually not able to do anything. Anything he wanted to start, the mind used to get disturbed. And later on, when the mind became his friend, mind was controlled. When he wanted to achieve something and he was not able to achieve, mind was helping him a lot. So we can understand how much this is very important. There are more instructions like this that Krishna actually gives us, and if we can follow these instructions in our life, especially all of you are actually the young jewels of the nation, if you can actually pick up all these things and then practice in your life, you become very successful. Now, a few other things we have to understand. A little bit of examples, right? Nature of the mind is like it's flickering, not calm at all. And if it's controlled, it becomes your best friend. And if it's uncontrolled, it will be the greatest enemy. It will not take you to your destination. You will feel very disturbed as you go along. And if you want to control it, don't control it by any mechanism of alcohol and anything like that. Meditation is the only way it actually comes under proper control, right? But can the mind be controlled is a question. Many a time we saw in the pantomime show that can be controlled, but little more details to it. It's just like a knife. Who you give the knife determines whether the knife is good or bad, because the knife itself is not bad. Like that, mind, it's not bad. Just like a knife, if it's given to the surgeon's hand, it can actually do an operation and save a person from danger. Whereas if it's given to a miscreant, he may kill a person with the same knife, right? So knife assets is not a bad thing. Similarly, mind is not a bad thing. But if mind is controlled, then you can be successful in life. Now, the question that we'll always have is, we saw that there was actually the 5 senses, and the mind is attached to the senses. The senses are pulling. The mind is in between. The mind is controlled by intelligence. Now, if we make the intelligence strong, the mind will become very weak. In the sense, the mind will actually listen to the intelligence. That is why we have to empower the intelligence with proper instructions. Now let's try to understand a little bit of dialogues, mental dialogues, how this actually really works, right? And just take an example of smoking as a habit. You actually get used to smoking. Before you actually start smoking, what really happens is sometimes you feel I'm an engineer, I'm actually very qualified, I feel cool keeping this what do you call a cigarette in your mouth, and then it's burning, and you feel very thrilled that I'm actually doing this, right? The mind feels like you will feel great. You see all these great personalities actually really smoke cool. Intelligence says no, it's a bad habit. It's not good for you. Your parents won't like it. Your friends won't like it. Friends there, but parents won't like it. You will get addicted. You will end up in so many things, get cancer and things like that. So it actually goes through that, right? In our mind, sometimes it goes through all this dialogues. Now, what really happens as next step? The mind will actually give some more instructions. No, it is fun. You will actually have to have fun. Life is for enjoying this fun. Just try it at least once. Intelligence says, no, don't do that. If you do that, it will become a habit and it will waste your money. Why do you really need it? I mean, you don't know what will happen in the future. Don't even do it. So the intelligence actually tells the mind, please don't do it. Now, the mind decides, okay, yes, the senses will act. If the intelligence tells mind no and mind says no, then senses will not act, right? Now, how does it work? If the mind is very strong, the mind will win. Then you will actually pick up a bad habit or any other for that matter. If the mind intelligence is strong, then the intelligence controls the mind and says no, so you can resist the temptation. Temptation will be there in this world. You cannot actually get away with that, but you will not be disturbed. The more you are not disturbed, the more peaceful you are, and the happy you become. Now, for all of us in our life, how life goes on, the choice that we make really mold our life, right? Our future is actually depending on the choices we make. Every time you're actually studying which college I should go, what course I should take, then you come to the engineering, and then you say, you come to your Q2, you decide, okay, should I go to the doctor or this or get into some BCom or whatever it is, right? So you keep deciding on this. So the choices that we make determine what kind of path we are taking. And the choices as such we have taken will decide the future, because life is made of all the choices. Now, what actually determines these choices is actually the habit. Whatever habit we have picked up, those habits will force us to think in a particular way, and because of which we'll choose particular things, and that will actually make us life go in a particular direction. Now, this is actually a very, very important thing. The habit that we choose is very important. If we actually pick up sattvic habits, if we actually pick up good habits, in the sense whatever Krishna is telling us, then our choices naturally will be proper, and then our life also will become straightforward and without much stress or mental disturbance and things like that. And whenever there's peace of mind, there'll always be happiness, is what Krishna actually claims in the second chapter. Now, how do we've spoken quite a bit about mind. Now, the question that I would actually really think about is mind all in all, right? How do I actually understand, how do I empower the intelligence? What should I feed with to the intelligence, and intelligence becomes very strong? That's what you're going to see, because if you understand the holistic perspective of where the mind sits, where the intelligence sits, who are we, then it becomes very easy. So before understanding the mind, one fundamental question we have to answer. What is the fundamental question? Is who am I? Who is the person? Who am I? Am I my mind? Am I this body? Or is there something else beyond this? Maybe actually it's good that you actually launched a poll. Can all of you actually okay, all of you seems to be actually giving, oh man, this is, I don't know whether you all are able to see the poll result, but I am able to see it. I see most of them actually are answering it as soul. Some of them actually are putting it as body. Some of you are putting on mind. Mostly all of them are picking it as soul. Good, go ahead. I think 24 of them have answered. Okay, this is good. I think Himanga Prabhu, we can close it. So most of you have said soul, but some of you actually have said body. And let me actually share if you want to see what it is. This is what actually the result is. Out of 26 people who answered this, a few of them have chosen body and mind, and the rest of them have chosen soul. That is, we are souls, right? Now, let's actually answer this question. Now, if you go in front of a mirror and stand there and then say, just ponder over this particular topic, like, am I this body? Or am I this hair, what I see? Or is this hand? What am I? Or is it something else I am? It's easy to point out that I am this, I am that, I am that. But who is that I? Where do we know that? Right? Am I my mind? I don't see my mind though. Then what is this concept of intelligence? And leave alone these things. At least I've heard this. What is this soul coming in? Again, Krishna actually mentions the Bhagavad Gita that we are not actually this body, we are not this mind, nor we are the intelligence. He says, Dehinosmita dehe kaumaram viparam jara tata dehantara praptir dhiras tatrana muhyati. You can see that. You can see this picture. It actually gives a very, very interesting fact. The soul is actually us. We go through this different human experience, and eventually we'll actually one day grow up and die. Again, this cycle actually continues. We have a mind which is actually situated in our body. That means the body is made of two components. One is a subtle body and the gross body. The gross body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, and ether, Panchabhutas. This is what is actually the Vedic scriptures actually train us on. And the subtle body is made of the mind, intelligence, and a false ego concept. What is a false ego concept? It's just an identity. And this mind and intelligence actually is another body that we have. It's actually spread all over the body. And this is sometimes actually termed as consciousness. But the mind is actually spread all over the body. It's not just it's there in the brain, it's there in the full body, right? It behaves in a particular way because it's one of the energies of the Lord. The Lord has created this. The Supreme Lord has created that and put it in the inside our body. Now, we have the body that we can see. There's another body which cannot be seen, which is made of mind, intelligence, and false ego. Then ourselves are there inside. That the spark of light goes through that. So now you have a human experience, and as we go along, depending on the interest that we have cultivated through the life, if we get a different experience, you can choose the body. You can get a body of a tiger, you can get a body of a cat, or you can get a body of a devata, or you get a body of a pig, something like that. So you can actually choose what you want, and we get that depending on what you have cultivated, right? So the shloka here, that's why actually I mentioned in the beginning of the class that if at all we get a chance to read something, this Bhagavad Gita is the best actually scripture to start with. It's amazing scripture which actually really talks practically about who are we. It doesn't touch anything about whether you're a Muslim or a Christian or whatever faith of life you follow. Nothing to do with that. It just talks science. This is called the spiritual science. The science which is very difficult to see from our material eyes. And Krishna is actually revealing this to us through the medium of the warrior Arjuna. Right now, friends, like this, there are many information. This shloka actually says, Dehinosmi neta dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tata dehantara praptir. The meaning, kaumaram means kumar, that is youth. The soul passes through different bodies, that is youth, manhood, and old age, and similarly, dehantara prapti means leave this body and then take another body. And the dhiras, tatra namuhyati, meaning dhira means someone who is very sober, who doesn't get disturbed by all these things. So such a person who understands this, the soul is going through this transformation, will not be disturbed, understanding that, okay, this part of life, that's how it works. Such a person is not disturbed. So like this, very, very interesting information actually is given in the Bhagavad Gita. So if you get a chance to do it, I think Himanga Prabhu might actually share that. If you are interested, you should actually sign up for the six session course on Bhagavad Gita, learn the 18 chapters in 6 days. It's a very interesting course, focused for youth. Should actually try to sign up for it. Now, as I said, the intelligence, the mind, and then the body, right? Those are all subservient to the soul proper. Now, if I actually feed the soul, if I actually give the soul the required energy, how? By practicing meditation, automatically it will actually become very powerful. Just like one of the saints actually narrated a story saying that we have two kinds of dogs in our body. One dog is always barking. The other dog is actually a healthy one, and there's actually a bad one. Both of them are there. So whomever you are going to feed, if you're going to feed the good dog, that will become healthy. If you feed the bad dog more, the bad dog will become more healthy. So the meditation on the spirituality aspect of it automatically make you very, very strong, and the mind becomes very subservient, and the mind becomes subservient, very submissive. Then happiness is guaranteed. That's the Lord actually is promising that, and we see that in the life of many of the students who actually are practicing this in their lives. Their mind is so controlled, and they really know when to sleep and when to get up, when I should do. I know these are things I need to achieve. My absorption is very good. Instead of putting absorption of 10% in life, whatever I want to achieve on, you put 80% of absorption in that activity for 2 hours, you'll be able to achieve everything. And many times we want that, but we are not able to achieve that. Right? We actually struggle hard to actually study our subjects, our own school, whatever we study or the work that we do. We get very disturbed, and this is very important. And I can actually talk from my own 20 years plus corporate career. If you can actually do this, then you can very, very focused on what you want to really achieve. And you can say, okay, this is not something that I really want to do it. And your mind helps you. Yes, this is not what you actually are signed up for, and we should not actually even look into it. If somebody wants to do it, let them do it, but you don't have to do it. So it helps you a lot, and we are very focused in life. That really helps. What is mantra meditation all about? Very simple. Mantra meditation is actually the easiest meditation recommended for this age where we don't have much time for anything, and we are always going around here and there, and we're not able to sit in the same place. Mantra means, man means mind, and tra means trayate, means deliver the mind from disturbances. So that's actually called mantra. That means the mind has so much of disturbances in life. This actually delivers. The mind is actually delivered from all the disturbances. That's called mantra. And the mantra which is recommended for this age is the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, which we all practice. So many people actually have been practicing it, and then they say proof of the pudding is in its eating. If somebody gives you kheer and say it's very tasty, unless until you drink the kheer, no matter whatever they say, you will not feel how tasty it is. So the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Try it as an experiment. Take it as an experiment. This can be the main takeaway for you for this whole session. Just try it out, maybe about 100 times or 10 times. Just try it and see what really happens. As you go along, you will feel there is some amount of different vibe that your body is getting. Your soul is getting nourished automatically, and it's getting the proper food it's supposed to get. And you feel very relaxed as you go along, right? I would want to actually pause here and then allow Hemanga Prabhu would actually share a video of the Kirtan. Ideally speaking, the drama which we actually had planned, plus the Kirtan that we had planned, would have been nice if we were all together friends in a room. I would have enjoyed, but unfortunately, because of the situation, we had to have a different methodology to actually deliver this information. So, Hemanga Prabhu, would you actually have the video of the Sankirtan? This is one of the very, very nice devotees who is actually spreading this Kirtan all over the world. You can hear to this for about 8 minutes. Then we can actually take on some questions, and I'll actually do some little bit of story and then conclude it. Hemanga Prabhu, you can go ahead and share the video of the Kirtan.
Yes, I'll do that. So I'm just putting it up, and I request all the participants. It's nice to see all of you are very enthusiastically participating in poll and also there. So it shows that you are enthusiastically listening the session. But we have very important announcements. So kindly stay back for 10 more minutes. After 8 minutes of video, we have 2 to 3 minutes of yours which will be taking. So let us view the video. Is it audible? Okay.
Yeah, it's coming up, I think.
With myself, and that was, I thought back over my life and thought about which were the moments where I was happiest. And as I did that little exercise, I realized the moments when I'm at my happiest, at my peak happiness, is when I'm singing kirtan. And so I realized that kirtan is the thing that brings me the greatest fulfillment and happiness. Just being there with other people, sharing kirtan, seeing their own happiness unfold, seeing their hearts open as they become free. They become free of fears and anxieties for that time while they're singing, while they're present, as they become peaceful and their hearts open with joy, with love. That just gives me the greatest fulfillment and sense of purpose and meaning, that I'm able to contribute to other people's happiness in life. My dad gave me the name Prahlad. Prahlad means one who gives happiness. And so the way I try to live up to my namesake is by sharing the happiness of Kirtan. Kirtan is an ancient form of meditation that has been practiced for thousands of years. We sing mantras. Man means mind and tra means to free. So Kirtan frees the mind of what? It frees the mind of anxiety. It frees the mind of fear. Recently, I sang Kirtan on top of the Great Wall of China. And as I was standing on this massive edifice, thousands of kilometers long, I saw it as an embodiment of fear and greed. These human emotions, these are conditioned emotions which cover the soul. They have become like walls around the soul. Fear and greed, we put them up around us. We try to defend ourselves, to protect ourselves. Kirtan brings those walls down, takes away the fear, takes away the greed, allows the pure soul to shine forth. The soul has nothing to fear. The soul needn't be greedy. The soul is full of love. When you're full of love, you don't have to fear. You don't have anything, you don't have an idea to take, but rather to give and to share. So the more people do Kirtan, the more people become loving and free, the better the world will be as a place to live. ask people at the end of a kirtan session to take the positive experience with them, to carry it with them in their hearts, and to act as a beacon in society, a beacon of light, someone who's giving to others, helping to uplift others, to contribute to others, rather than taking or creating more darkness, to carry that light in their own lives by practicing kirtan. You don't need a big group. Just a few other people, friends, family. You can even sing kirtan by yourself. I often do at home with the harmonium. And you can experience the same bliss, the same upliftment. What's really important in kirtan is that attitude of surrender. You're giving your heart, you're giving your mind, you're giving your soul in that sound vibration to the divine. Just letting go. That's where the bliss comes in. If we're trying to taste the bliss itself, then it doesn't really happen. Or maybe it happens, but not to the extent that is really possible. But when you just let go and let yourself be, not thinking of tomorrow or yesterday, but just be present, hearing the sound, feeling the sound, singing with your heart, that's where the magic happens. And kirtan really is full of magic.
Thank you so much, Hemanga Prabhu, for sharing that video. You can see this, that this singing of these holy names are so simple, so easy. It doesn't require any pre-qualifications. You can actually chant whenever you want, wherever you want, I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're walking on the road or you're actually going to the school, college, or just relaxing, sitting, or for the matter, even if you're actually taking your bath, you could actually still chant this. And there's so many wonderful, what do you call, kirtans of the Hare Krishna mantra which are available. You could simply just chant that, and that way feel really relaxed, completely detached. Yeah, so I just want to actually say that I just want to share one more story, and then I'll hand it back to Hemanga Prabhu. So I heard this story long back from one of those motivational speakers, and it really made a lot of sense. There was one saint who used to predict what's going to happen in the future. So many people used to actually go and ask the saint. He was a very genuine guy, and they went and asked him what is going to happen, and then he used to say this is what will happen, and then they used to become happy. So there was one crook. He actually wanted to test this saint. And what he did, he actually caught a pigeon in his hand, right? He caught a pigeon in his hand and kept it at the back behind. He was actually holding it at the back. And he went to the saint and asked the saint, the pigeon in my hands, is this alive or dead? So he knew if the saint says, yeah, it is alive, then he would actually just crush it and then kill it. Or if he says, no, it's dead, he would actually just let it go and it will fly away. So he actually tested the saint, and the saint said, it's all in your hands. It's simply in your hands. The future of this pigeon is in your hands. So that way, many of us actually can share these kind of experience that we have gone through in our life, but ultimately actually it depends on the audience. If they want to actually pick it up and then try it out and take it forward, yes, they will benefit. If they want to just leave it like that, then again, who is going to actually lose on yes, right? So I just want to actually say that take it forward, try it out on your own, chant the holy name, then you know how you feel very relaxed in life, and you'll also get a focus that what you want to do in life. Yeah. With that, friends, thank you so much for patiently hearing me. There are any questions I can take, but I would want to hand it over to Hemanga Prabhu to continue forward. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prasi. Your today's session was filled with so much of enthusiasm, which we could see when you were speaking, and a lot of nice stories. And you told us how this mind works and the mechanism of mind control also. So audience would be very happy, and because they receive these teachings, whatever you shared based on Bhagavad Gita. So if they just apply, it will be very helpful for them. So before getting back to question answers, I'm just posting this link in the chat box, so which is about having few questions, a small quiz. It's like MCQ.
I think you're
okay. So there you can see how much you have learned from the session, and also we will see some of the top scorers. We will personally contact them and send them some gift at their home also. So don't miss this chance. It's a wonderful chance. And in the quiz, you will be seeing one of the question that would you like to join for Learn Gita in 6 days course. So I'm just sharing this particular slide to say what it is. So it's a unique feature which we are launching, especially for youths who don't have so much patience to know what is there in Gita in 18 chapters, right? So you can very scientifically and logically learn from us what Gita speaks about. So these are the main 6 subjects about Jiva, like who am I and what happens beyond this life, rising from fear to hope. So that is the first session about Jiva, about our own identity. Then there is Prakriti, who controls me and who controls the activities of this world. We can especially see so many sudden changes happening in the world. Is it under control or is it happening by chance? So we will learn about that Prakriti, which is set up by Lord as laws of material world. Then third topic will be Karma, unescapable law of material nature and the philosophy of action and reaction. So that is about karma, law of karma. Then next topic will be on Kala, the power of time, which brings about the change in this world. Like if you just ask yourself, you can ask this question for yourself: where were you 100 years before and where you'll be 100 years after? So we don't have answer to this question also. So how this Kala time factor is so powerful, which manifests things in this world and winds the thing up, right? Then there is Ishvara. So much confusion. Who is one God? Is there many gods or is there one God? So that topic will be dealing with. And also yoga. What is the best yoga according to Bhagavad Gita? This yoga is one of the most spoken term nowadays, whether it be West or India. So learn all of these things in just 6 days, and this will be distributed over 3 weekends. So we know Monday to Friday you may be having your office, work from home, or studies. So we will start it on 15th January, which is Saturday, and it will be 1 hour 15-minute session. The next session will be on Sunday, the 16th January. Then for 5 days no session. Again, next third session will be on 21st January, then 22 January, then 29 January, and 30th January. In this way, in this 3 weekends, you will go through the entire summary of Bhagavad Gita. And it is not just theoretical way. We'll be teaching you many practical applications to take away. And it is a certified course. You will be receiving a certificate also, e-certificate on successful completion. And hopefully if things are going okay, so we would hope to see many of you visiting our temple. Personally, you will get to interact with Kripamaya Gaurangse and also see how he is living a very balanced life, materially and spiritually both. When you get to meet him, you will see how peaceful and how happy he is in his personal life also. So he's a wonderful example for many of us in Bangalore here, who is setting a nice example. How he is married also. He's having many family responsibilities also, and a lot of office responsibilities. Same time, he is giving a lot of attention on his own spiritual life and also helping many of us. So we are extremely thankful for Proji's time. You can meanwhile attempt the quiz, and those who have questions, you can raise hands. I will unmute you, or we are giving chance to unmute, but one by one you can ask your questions. It's an interactive time for next 10 minutes. And those who are done with the quiz, you may want to leave if you have some pressing responsibilities. Otherwise, you can stay to hear others' questions. Yeah. So any questions?
Thank you, Hemanga Prabhu. It was very interesting. I would definitely want to actually have all the people attending and to meet us in person. The next time when we meet Krishna willing, we should actually have a kirtan of that kind, right? With all the musical instruments. So that'll be awesome. It'll be very empowering. Does anybody have questions?
One question Uday had put in the chat, that what's mind and where it is, sir. So I hope that was answerable through slides only. So because you covered it as part of the session. And anyone else wants to ask any questions?
Yeah, those who ask questions, Hemang Prabhu will send you a toffee. Just kidding. So, no
Because
issues, but then,
especially
yeah,
in youth time, we have a lot of questions which we want to clarify with someone, right? So I think Shrikant is wanting to ask someone.
okay, sure.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
My name is Shrikant Prabhu, and I have a question, Prabhu, for you.
Please, thank you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Prabhu. Prabhu, you told right that process, that controlling that mind. How much time does it take to control that?
Okay,
How?
that's a very, very good question, because many a times our mind is so obstinate, very stubborn, that when you actually tell, I want to get up in the morning, mind will actually soothe you. No, 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 not today. We saw in the pantomime show, the mind was disturbing. It was not obeying the me for some time, but eventually, because the me was chanting Hare Krishna mantra, doing the meditation very strongly, was able to overcome. So the answer to this question would depend on how much obstinate your mind is. Your mind is extremely obstinate, then it may take some time. For most of us, actually, it took about 2 years for us to actually come to at least, it's still obstinate, but at least we know how actually it is going to behave. It's very predictable right now. And depending on your lifestyle, if you actually change your lifestyle in a way that you actually eat sattvic food, associate with sattvic kind of people, and then you regulate your life in such a way, it doesn't mean that you're not going to eat, you're going to sit and then press your nose in the corner and then not interact with anyone. No, it's just that your lifestyle will become more focused on what is really good for your future, right? So when you do that within very short time, especially when you are youth, it's very easy to pick it up. When you become older, it is more difficult to control your mind. Since you guys are pretty young, it won't take more than a few months if you actually properly follow the process. Yeah, that's what I would say, Shrikant. But thanks for the question. Start with the holy name, start with the Hare Krishna mantra. The Hare Krishna mantra takes care of everything. It creates such a soothing situation. The mind wants to get engaged again and again. Yeah, thanks for that.
Thank you, Prabhu. Prabhu, even I have another question.
Please.
Means now we are a students, and we have a lot of stress, and we don't know. Means maybe in the future we have to take some few challenges.
Yeah.
Many challenges, of course.
Yeah.
How do we handle that? How do we handle that? Means we control our mind. We come across, we know that our mind is so, we want to do that, and we have that goal in our mind that we are going to get that. But suppose there is a chance that we fall down. Maybe we might not get that. Should we consider that I'm not practicing it well? Maybe what chanting we told, right? You told, right, Prabhu? We are not practicing that very well. That's why I fall down. Means this kind of things that comes in our mind, right? How do we handle this?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, definitely. So for all of us, when you're a child, right, and you could have seen this practically, when you're a small child, you're actually crawling, and when you start walking, many times you'll fall, but that doesn't mean that fall means that you're incapable. It's just that you're practicing to start. So when you grow up, you know how to balance yourself and then walk properly, right? So it takes some time. And that's why you need association. You need like-minded people so that they motivate you and not demotivate you. When you're actually trying to do something of this kind, people come and say, why are you wasting your time, man? I mean, instead of saying that, they say, it's okay, it happens for all of us, keep trying, you'll be successful. And when you have that kind of an environment, which is very caring and very, very, observing kind of an environment, like the boys here, you will definitely actually feel very motivated. And you see many people actually are like that, and you don't feel disturbed at all. Yes, they're also studying. They're also actually doing this process. I should also be part of it. And in the future, it will help each other. When you actually have genuine friends all through your life, that's very, very interesting. So that's how you make progress in this situation. But again, I want to actually for someone who's practicing this process for some time, you will start understanding that in all the process you may not be successful in life because of a past karma. You learn it from the Bhagavad Gita. Because of a past karma, there are three things that we need to do. There are certain things that you can definitely solve, try to solve them. There are certain things that you need to ignore or learn to ignore. Don't try to solve every single problem in the world. There you need to ignore certain things. Please ignore. And there are a few things in life which will come to you. You just need to tolerate and live with it. You will not be able to solve all the problems in life, but something which you can solve, please solve. Something you can tolerate, please tolerate. Something it really doesn't matter, just ignore them. Then you'll just pass on. And that way, so that's why you need a good association of people who actually are practicing this for some time. When you associate with them, you feel motivated. As I have someone to actually depend on. I have my spiritual masters who are there. I can actually take their guidance. Then that way I can make progress, right? You'll not be disturbed at all. You'll always feel that motivated that the Lord is waiting for me one day. I'll go there, right? So that's how actually you have to handle Srikant. But don't be demotivated at all. Feel happy that you actually have a lot of friends here, a lot of brothers and sisters out here. So you should actually associate with them. That way, actually, you'll get motivated and strength.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much for reading.
Yeah, I see a few other questions coming in the chat. Hemanga Prabhu, should I take them?
Yes, also Arvind has a question if he wants to
Okay,
ask.
okay, I'll answer that also. Okay, Arvind, go ahead, Arvind.
Hare Krishna, sir.
Hare Krishna.
Aravind from Bangalore. So my doubt is that, sir, can you tell the difference between mind and soul? Because I have heard that soul is like source of knowledge. So I needed to know the difference between mind and soul.
Okay, okay. Actually, soul is us. We are actually the soul, basically. We are going through a human experience. Because we are going through a human experience, you feel anything to do with human, you feel comfortable. But there is also soul in the other living entities like the dogs, cats, wild animals. Even the birds have, even the trees actually have soul. They go through different experience altogether. Now, as such, this is a little technical aspect. Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says that the soul is fully knowledgeable. It's just that it's forgotten everything in the material world. It's come to a different place. This place is called the material world. In this world, the soul has forgotten who he is and struggling, thinking that I'm a human being, I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm this person, I'm that person. And when we go through this experience, we pick up many, many new desires, and that's how we go through this cycle. Mind as such is just an energy of the Lord, which helps us to do this thinking, feeling and willing. These kind of, what do you call, emotions that we go through, the mind helps in that particular aspect for the soul. The soul itself is different. The soul is knowledgeable, but its soul is forgotten everything. Mind just gives you this acceptance, rejection. Anything you see, it says yes. Anything you see, sometimes it rejects. So it just, it's just an energy of the Lord, which helps the soul to be in the material world. The more the mind is actually uncontrolled, the more the soul will actually feel disturbed. But the actual knowledge is there in the soul. It's just forgotten everything. Whatever you heard is not wrong as such. It's correct. But you need to open up that. How do you open up that? When you associate back to the Supreme Lord, automatically this knowledge will get revealed to you. Okay?
Sir, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
No problem. No problem.
Okay. So we have another question by Nidhi, that how do we handle failure in something we do? And meanwhile, we are answering questions. We just wanted to say officially, we are done with our today's session. We hope to see you in the Learn Gita in 6 days series, and also for our next monthly festival, which will be in February month, and we will keep you updated on the finalized date.
Yeah.
So,
I'd like to try to answer these questions. I think there's Pooja actually asking how to keep mind steady. Is it the question? Yeah, mind steady to study today and now, because every time I sit to study, I feel like let's start from tomorrow. Awesome. Even I went through that. I used to wonder, okay, not right now. Morning we'll see, and then till the exam is about 2 hours, I'll keep writing and then see. Okay, last one thing I need to actually look into it, and then maybe one extra thing I'll remember, and then I'll go and then write it. It's a fact actually, because by studying this mundane information that we have, how current passes through the wire, or how does this what do you call a crow flies in the sky, we don't feel what you call excited to read this thing. It's so boring to read, and that's the reason. I mean, if somebody gives you a book and the book actually has a lot of interesting stories and fun and things like that, would you say that I'll stop it here and take it tomorrow and then read it? No, because it's exciting. You want exciting life, and you don't want to read some fellow actually, some fellow Alba Edison, someone actually has invented something. I have to read all those things, and then goes on like that, right? So how do you do all these things? So when you actually control your mind, when you come to the stage of chanting Hare Krishna mantra, your mind becomes calm. And when you say the mind, I need to read right now, the mind will actually say, yes, let's actually read it because it needs to be done. And because it needs to be done, I'll be able to do it. But without that, if you artificially try to tune your mind, it's going to actually it's going to listen to you for some time, and again you'll come very hard saying that no, you'll become obstinate, you can't read it at all. So again, when you actually take to the process of this chanting, understand Lord is there in your heart as Paramatma. He will also help you. He'll also actually give you intelligence enough that when you read it one time, it just gets registered there. So there are other things which are there, but you can do it provided your mind actually gets controlled, and that's very, very important. Hope that actually answers your question, Pooja. Anjane, how much time we should give for chanting every day? This is an interesting question because we have 24 hours a day. Krishna actually doesn't, Krishna doesn't say, give me all your time. He just asks you, give me your worry time, and we worry all the time, right? They say, don't worry, chant Hari. There is actually a statement like that. You don't need to actually give all your time for the Lord, but at least the time you worry, give it to the Lord. Maybe at least start with one round, 108 times stand this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and see how it works. How do you feel after that? And if you can actually try out, it's just like I'm eating food. How much food I really need, I would know it. It's not same amount of food everyone eats, right? You start eating, and when you are actually satisfied, then you can actually stop, something like that. To start with, just stand one round at least. How do we handle, Nidhi is asking, how do we handle failure in something we do? Okay, how do we handle failure in something we do? So understand this, not everything we do has to be successful. Why? Basically because, as I said, in life, there are three aspects that you have to see. Something which you really need to solve, something which you need to tolerate, and something which you need to ignore. If you are trying to solve something which you need to tolerate, you may be actually a failure, you will not be able to be successful. That is the reason you need to actually consult with somebody who has gone through that experience and borrow the faith from them. Just like the doctor, when you go to the doctor, you may be sick. You may not know what's happening, but the doctor knows what's happening, and you borrow his faith. When the doctor says, take this medicine, you'll be all right in 3 days. We just borrow, we don't even know what's happening. We just take the medicine and we take the doctor's faith, and then we borrow that faith. Similarly, if you actually associate with someone who's gone through this situation and borrow their faith, then you'll be able to overcome failures. They say, there are a lot of material quotes we can always read, like failure is a stepping stone for success and things like that. Those are nice to hear, but when you start practicing, you'll always feel demotivated. That's the reason, as I said, life will have ups and downs. Wear a thick boot that no thorns, no stones will actually disturb you. So that's how we had actually cultivate our life with, right? Hope that actually helps, Mataji. Vijay Krishnan, my mind goes here and there every time I sit to chant. So please tell me what to do. Focus on it wherever. Actually, this question you should ask when they do the 6th session Bhagavad Gita course, because Krishna tells Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena Chetasa Nanyagamina. Basically, Abhyasa Yoga. Basically, you have to practice detachment and focus. Both are required. It'll go here and there, bring it back. In the beginning, it'll be difficult. Look at the pantomime show. The mind was distracting him, but he continued it, and he was trying to resist. Many times he failed, but he did not give up. And finally, the mind was trained. So that's the way to actually do it. Don't expect that overnight your mind will become controlled. Mind is like a monkey; it will not be controlled so easily. So you have to actually keep faith and then follow the process. Many people have been successful. Why can't you be successful? Yes, you will be, definitely. Prabhu, minds get attracted to, this is Rakesh, mind gets attracted to negativity very easily. How to always be positive mind setup? positive you want to be, you have to actually be in the positive association. If people keep telling you, okay, coronavirus is going to definitely come to you, it's just a matter of time, then you'll go into the negative way of thinking. Be with people who are more positive. Their mindset is more positive. And when you associate with the devotees, when you chant the holy name will actually give you that amount of positivity that you want to look forward to such kind of people, right? Keep attending these sessions, you'll learn more and more, because there are many things which are there you'll not be able to learn in first day itself. As you go along, you'll start understanding. Keep your intelligence open by asking questions. They are very, very interesting questions. Thank you so much. You will overcome it. For example, Krishna is always happy. When you associate with someone very happy, obviously you will become happy. Even if you are feeling sad, when you go and see someone very happy, and the person who's happy is telling you, why are you unhappy? Don't worry, I will take care of it. Automatically you become happy. So that's why it's very important you associate with someone who's always thinking in a positive way. Then you will also become happy. Simple, basic logic. And there was actually one small story, I'll just say and stop it. There was once a small kid who entered a room full of mirrors. This kid was laughing, and when he entered the room, the mirrors, all of them reflected their mind. It was all of them are laughing. And when they looked at it, the kid looked at everything, he was very happy. But later on, an old gentleman came inside the room and he was very depressed. And when he entered the room and saw all the mirrors, everything actually was very frustrating because it was reflecting their own mentality. So similarly, it all depends on whom you are associating with. If you're associating with happy people, even though you are feeling sad, eventually you become happy because it's very contagious. Very, it's very reflective. When you associate with a nice person, a very happy person, you will definitely become happy and want to be with those people, right? Hope that helps, Nidhivanshi. Rest of them, I think, please keep continuing attending these sessions and keep in touch with Hemanga Prabhu in the group. We will see what we can do as we go along, and good luck in your life. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prasi. And thank all our participants also. We will meet next month. And before that, those who log in for Learn Gita in 6 days will be meeting there. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.